Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I am once again simulcasting on Rumble and Utizzle. And I hope you all are having an enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. And I hope you all, I know you all have it in your hearts as to who we owe that to. And we're going to go over that. My title, I know I wrote it in a bit of a fit about what this nation's been through in the past and what so many have sacrificed for. And we'll go over that and a great many other things. But I'm going to play some videos while we have people come into the chats, and we'll talk about what's going on.
What's the problem over there? What's the problem? Is that a radical left lunatic? He's just a child. All right, get him out. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. I thought it was a guy. Thank you.
Why are our Democrat colleagues so determined to flood our country with millions of illegal aliens? And I'd like to suggest that perhaps it's because they benefit from it politically. Remember that every state is apportioned congressional seats based on population, not based on citizenship. Counting non-citizens in congressional apportionment has resulted in more seats for blue states and fewer congressional seats for red states.
Stronger and better than ever before. They're mostly gone. They're all coming back. This is why people in countries want to kill me. They're not happy with me. It's a risky business. This is why they want to kill me. They only kill consequential presidents, remember that. But this is why, if you're one of the countries that's affected, you're not happy with what I'm saying. When they used to say they like Barack Hussein Obama, of course they do, because he did nothing to help us. When they like Biden, who doesn't know he's alive, of course they like him, because he does nothing to bring your businesses back. He lets the world rob our country, the robber barons. He lets them rob and steal from our country, and most importantly, he lets them take our jobs.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give President tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up.
nation. We will take care of her. We will take.
Hi, folks. I hope you all are having a great night. Nice to see you all. Let's see who's here. Angel's here. Wanda's here. Lucky's here. Ha ha. Sissy, Kathy, Robin, Todd, Debbie, Yvonne. Nice to see you. Rebecca. Elva, nice to see you. William's here. Pappy Two Bears. Nice to see you. Common Sense is here. All right, now we got that. We're ready to roll. We're like butter. We're on a roll. Ha ha ha. Well, happy Memorial Day, and I made my thumbnail out of Memorial Day weekend. I made my thumbnail from some pictures that Dan Scavino put up, and as I was going through posts and looking at the controversies of the day, real and contrived, it all seems so petty and aggravating. And what's the crux of the problem? The crux of the problem is we have people that don't appreciate what they have. They don't even know what they have. And that, what's that song? You don't know what you got till it's gone. Oh, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. But you don't know what you got till it's gone. And we don't want it to be gone. I know what we got, okay? I read history. I put myself in the mindset of what I would be doing if I lived through those times. And I mean Revolutionary War, being a settler, being put on a boat, floating around for weeks wondering, am I going to make it? Where am I going? Before there even was colonies. That's why we tell stories to our children about our past, so they know about history. We have generations now that wake up and think, oh, well, why didn't they, when the colonies were coming, why didn't they pick up their smartphone and just start telling everybody stop slavery and this and that? The people that can't write in cursive, can't read, can't spell, that are telling us what we need to do to make this country better. Then they don't know about being hungry. They don't know about being broke. They don't know about getting a draft notice. They don't know about waking up in a ditch when it's raining and you don't know if a bullet's going to whiz over your head. Why? Because you were told to. That's why. That's why you're there. They don't know anything about that. So, hi, Tank. How you doing? Who'd I miss? Let's see. Okay, Angela, you just returned. Well, I'm glad you're back. We're all glad you're back. So, I tell you, I what got on my nerves, I was in a fairly good mood, and I still am. But some college somewhere, this individual right here, in purple, I will never stand for this, sitting on her duff. Arrogant, audacity. They know so much. Too bad how much they know is wrong. And you juxtapose that with the monument to the right, and it's It's sickening. It's truly sickening. So we've got to improve our education. Some people need to be humbled. Humbled. I put in my thumbnail, swift and harsh. Where did I come up with that? What made me think of that? Well, for one thing, Jeanine Pirro, Judge Jeanine, is putting the ultimate penalty. Let's see if I can. I think it was Diamond Silk. Let me see. I'll put up a couple of their things. Yeah, here, new. Jeanine Pirro mulls first bold action as D.C. U.S. Attorney. Jean Pirro, who was recently sworn in as acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, told reporters that the death penalty is on the table for the man accused of gunning down 2 people at the Israeli embassy. And I said, with this rash of terrible acts, a la Luigi Mangione, or however you say his name, this individual with the one who is sitting in jail right now that was lying in wait at the golf course, the one who got the split-second dental work and lights out, Thomas Crooks. I'm taking my coat off because I'm getting myself heated up. That these people need to be dealt with swiftly and harshly. Just like with the Oklahoma City bomber, as I've talked about in the past. So this is a good step. But what are we going to see? It was like my thumbnail I had about James Comey. Who will be the judge? Who will be the judge? Don't you know Judge Boasberg, the one who ordered the planes back and this and that? He was involved in the first trial of the Russia scandal hoax, which resulted in John Durham's first defeat ever in 30 years. And now he's involved in interfering with President Trump's invocation of the Alien Enemies Act. So we're going to see these intricate webs come together. And I think this is allowed to be going on to flush out people and to create and maintain awareness and maintain and increase awareness. So we don't have people like that individual refusing to stand for their anthem. We've got to find comity, and you've heard that term being used before on the news. I said, wait to hear that term coming up. Hi, Wanda. How you doing? Gino, nice to see you. Jerry, how you doing? Darla, Tennessee, Jeffrey. I think it's going to be Judge Ho. I think, hi, Brush. Prototype, nice to see you. Jerry said, pretty but ugly inside. Who are you talking about? Oh, the one that wouldn't stand. Yeah, well, we'll get her looking pretty. Like I said, people have to come to the precipice before they'll change. Hi, Canis, clean up. Nice to see you. Gino wants Pam Bondi fired. Pam Bondi has publicly said and was on tape at a restaurant saying that there were tens of thousands of hours of hideous video that needed to be reviewed that have on there very important people. Why do you want to fire Pam Bondi? You know, she's saying she's got evidence and they're reviewing it. You want them to just go on NBC and put up hardcore PR and an ON with little people in it? Is that what you want? Just start showing it on the networks. You don't think there needs to be investigative work done? You missed my broadcast when I discussed that. And I discussed how difficult it is for people to go with investigative experience to have to go through that and build a case. These people need counseling. I don't care how much you've seen, how much you've gone through. And, you know, people think this stuff's a game. That's why that's another reason why I put in a hard hand of war. How many of you all saw, until it blows up right in their face or something happens to them? How many of you saw Trump's speech at West Point? He talked about Patton. He talked about Grant. He talked about Eisenhower. He talked about Norman Schwarzkopf. A lot of people said my dad looked like Norman Schwarzkopf. He didn't talk about another one who went to West Point. William Tecumseh Sherman. William Tecumseh Sherman. His march to the sea. That's when he said, people need to feel the hard hand of war. Otherwise, they're going to keep fighting. They think it's fun and games? Give them one upside the head. Let's see if they want to keep fighting. We were told that 90% of the people would need psychiatric care if they knew what was really going on. And the people that are reviewing those Epstein tapes and building a case have to decide how to proceed without traumatizing this country or causing divisions that will never heal. To somehow do huge degree of prosecutions of a large part of our government, but maintain civil society and not damage the national psyche. And also they have to think about their own mental health. It's like I was saying about the cartel videos. Let me get my thoughts together. Here. Watch this for a minute.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. Do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. There were a lot of men in those planes, a lot of men who visited that island, a lot of powerful men who came into that apartment.
I didn't mean to get animated, and I played that video there just to gather my thoughts. I don't like people throwing rocks at somebody that's on the field fighting like hell. Every person that is working in the Trump administration has put their life on the line and put their family in jeopardy. Wake up and realize the seriousness of what's going on in this country. That's why I put one chance. Not only does the person that refused to stand for the anthem with their nose up in the air, doing their hair, have no idea what's awaiting them if America falls. But a lot of people who want stuff to happen now have no idea what the people that are trying to stop this are going through. Lives have been destroyed during the first Trump administration. Trump has mentioned that. This is not something to be done lightly. They're constantly, what you see on the surface is child's play. This business of dreaming up every negative narrative about Trump and then getting all these YouTubers to spread that narrative and then having the useful idiots suck it up. That's child's play. The hard work, the hard part of the battle is how to catch a dangerous animal and come out. I'll show you some of the news clippings just before I went live. Police officer who arrested Georgia teen that was detained by ICE resigns from department, shows her up there in the corner looking down to the ground. That's the little 19-year-old that ended up getting whole family deported. Well, they act like the cop did something wrong. He probably getting threatened when he did the right thing. I don't care if she's 19 and cute little kid. They're all here illegally. Now here's the next one. They want to be, now they're all concerned about the budget. They're all concerned about the budget. Borders are Tom Home and security detail costs around $1 million a month. Of course it does. They should up it to $2 million. Since when did Democrats ever give a damn about a budget? Do you know how many people are gunning for him? You know how many people are cheering them on? We're entering a culture of assassination. People that think they're heroic and that they're doing the right thing. So they say around $1 million a month, and then farther down says costs more than $500,000 a month. That's a big damn difference. But the top article is what gets people, $1 million a month, $1 million a month. That's a big difference between 500,000 and $1 million. Federal judges consider own security force amid threats. No. Who are you talking about? You talking about Alito? You talking about Justice Thomas? You talking about Kavanaugh when everybody's marching on their houses? Oh, you're talking about Zenas and Boasberg and these boneheads that are little low district court judges interfering with safety of Americans and foreign policy of the President of the United States. That bunch. Maybe they think they need their own security force in case somebody sends some marshals for them. If there's any connections made, collusion, conniving, subversion with a foreign power. King Charles III visit to Canada affirms sovereignty. Oh, ain't that interesting? Well, like we don't know that. Judge says Trump has power to impose tariffs, but punts lawsuit to a different court. California Attorney General suggests potential lawsuit. Screw you all. And the horse you rode in on, and especially if Rand Paul's riding it, he better get his head and his rear end wired right. Trump gave an extension to the European Union. What does that show you? That shows you when you got the big stick, you don't got to crack them on the head with it right away. Sometimes you wave it at them. He said he was going to impose tariffs. He waved the stick. They came calling. So he doesn't crack them over the head every time. But he does wave it. And it gets their attention. Do you think they would be willing to meet with him if he didn't threaten that? Tariffs? Of course not. They'd laugh in our face, eat our lunch, and pop the bag in our face. I'm looking for that clip of Trump and tariffs. Let me find it. If they think they're going to get away with it, they're not going to negotiate at all. They'll laugh in your face, our faces. Where is that clip? Apparently, the EU thought they got off unscathed, and they did not seriously engage with President Trump. So, in between golf rounds, he just said, well, I'm going to... he said, if they don't come to the table, I'll make the decision for them. He said that about China, and he meant it about everybody. So he made the decision for them. They didn't want to come to the table.
Because I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, sir.
That's right. And that's where they're at right now, the European Union. Where is that? She put out a tweet. What's her face? From the UK. Very productive talk with the President of the United States. Here it is, I think. No, wait a minute. That's Evan Nunes. Here it is, I think. Ursula von der Leyen. Good call with POTUS. The EU and US share the world's most consequential and close trade relationship. Europe is ready to advance talks swiftly and decisively. To reach a good deal, we would need the time until July 9th. Well, you better make good use of it. What they put up on here, the Financial Times. Put this up. If Trump's new trade tariff, the threat could deal a serious blow to key U.S. industries. Pharmaceuticals, $80 billion in exports to the U.S. They warn of a shortage of medicines and a catastrophe for the industry. Automotive industry, $39 billion. Exports would be unprofitable, especially for the brands that do not produce in the U.S. Aircraft manufacturing, Boeing and Airbus. Tariffs could increase costs. The total damage to the EU economy from 50% tariffs could reach 0.5% of their gross domestic product. For the whole European Union, oh, it's 0.5%. Well, that's a lot. It's noted that EU exported goods worth $530 billion to the U.S. in 24, more than 20% of all external sales. So, yeah, they came to the table. Yeah, they need more time. But what are they up to is what I want to know. Give them too much flipping time. Let me see what's going on in the chats. Hi, Miss Sue. How you doing? That's right, Jerry. Art of the deal. Hi, Richard. Well, I'll tell you what. You all need to look at the Man in the Arena video and that's why Scavino keeps posting it. I'm not going to get myself upset again, but I'll tell you what. The Man in the Arena. The ones that put it on the line and get out and play. Not like this guy. How to lose 1,500 calories in your sleep. Do you all know how to lose 1,500 calories in your sleep? Right there. See? You drop half your pizza on the subway floor. Ha ha ha! You put it in a little levity. You could put that on your meta just for laughs. Don't take life too seriously. But I tell you, I see stuff like that, that woman gets on my nerves. Dan Scavino also put this up. Look at this beautiful machine here. Dan Scavino, Hudson River, West Point. What do you think that plane's doing? Flying over West Point while Mr. T is there. Put it on the air show? I don't think so. Them and other craft doing a electronic scrub. Here we have, I'm not going to play this video because it makes me sick. But here is what people like James Comey sets off. This is Wichita, Kansas, of all places. What's going on? They're chanting those numbers that I don't repeat. Making it everyday terminology, or attempting to, rather than the threat that it is. Invocations to violence are becoming the norm. That's why I said they need the hard hand of war. Something to put on your meta. This long weekend of barbecues, friends, family, and freedom brought to you by those who gave all. Did you hear that Rudy Giuliani is saying that he wants to be a prosecutor? Prosecutor for the Biden crime family. I think he's going to be a prosecutor for something. In my book, There's a text from Hunter Biden to his psychiatrist talking about Joe's dementia. The kicker is the text is from 2019. This is on Truth Social. Truth Social. The president's family had been dead set against him dropping out, recalling crisis after crisis over the course of Biden's political career, in which they banded together and bounced back. Joe Biden and son Hunter Biden, in particular, seethed against top Democrats, including some longtime friends who they felt were betraying a loyal party leader and public public what? Servant. Yeah, right. That's 2024. I guess here's the text, which I can't read it, but I'm sure he did text his psychiatrist talking about the big guy losing his marbles. You know, I talked about, got a little melancholy over wondering how many of us will get to see how this turns out. Remember I was talking about that? My friend's mother having a fall. We never know who's going to be here. The patriarch of Duck Dynasty passed away. Phil Robertson. My dad has gone to be with the Lord today. He will be missed, but we know he's in good hands. And our family is good because God is very good. We will see him again. Anybody that watched the show knows that Phil Robertson was oftentimes referring to the Bible and saying that he ran with wicked people when he was younger. And he repented. He's a big Trump supporter. He was 79 years old. I had no idea that there was a problem with his health. But at least he got to see Trump regain office. And I know that he knows everything's going to come together just like that. But we have to keep that in mind, folks. Our time is very finite. You know, I got some clips. You know, people that don't know what's going on, they really need to see. From the World Economic Forum. It's been going around on Telegram and on Twitter. Some old clips from the World Economic Forum. I'll play a few of them. That's what people really need to see. Here. Bill Gates. You know, people are listening with half an ear. They think he's just talking about measles. He's talking about shots. But if you listen to him with intent to hear what he's saying, you'll hear him say, that these outbreaks would greatly reduce the population, which would be a benefit. People don't realize what we're up against.
10, 15 years.
Of the new work?
Of the new work,
yeah.
Of your new function.
Well, I set very ambitious goals because I'm quite optimistic. If you look at, say, the 20 diseases that our global health program goes after, I'd hope that within 15 years, over half of those, we could have had a very dramatic impact. Some of them will prove to be harder than others. For example, AIDS, we will have made an improvement, but not the dramatic improvement probably in that time frame. Malaria, perhaps, and a number of the other ones, we have things in the pipeline. So, huge change in the mortality rates in developing countries, which then has this effect of reducing population growth. That's this big benefit that then makes everything like education and nutrition a lot easier. So I have very high expectations there, and we actually use these dashboards internally at the foundation to make everything be quite numeric. We're trying to be rigorous about that and even share those so that people can see, oh, you fell short of what you had in mind, and then we get to explain if we have any lessons that might be learnable from other foundations.
Yeah. You don't have to read between the lines. He's saying especially in third world countries, a huge reduction in population would make it easier to educate and feed people if you didn't have that many people. I played something else from this same woman. Here she is putting it, where if you listen to what she's trying to communicate, let's see. What does she want to do to people? Oh, she wants to put memories in their heads, create memories. She says they've already done it and that they're making strides in inducing pain from afar.
Interestingly, not just from neuroscience, but also from psychology, there's a wonderful researcher by the name of Elizabeth Loftus, who's done some really fascinating work looking at planting false memories. She has a great TED Talk on this as well, talking about planting of false memories, where she successfully, in a number of experiments, has planted false memories, including people believing that they've been at Disney World with characters who are not Disney characters, taking photographs with those characters, or that they've seen a stop sign that wasn't actually there simply by manipulating images and stories that she tells to them, and then they come back into the lab and they are convicted in their belief. And so there's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain. And in a different context, one of the emerging areas that's really interesting in law neuroscience is pain detection. And once we understand the circuitries that cause pain, I guess the question is, could we then instill pain and use that in many coercive measures in the legal system as well? So.
Wow, that's amazing.
Coercive measures induce pain, which would be a coercive measure. What if you don't want to go through stuff like that? Maybe you won't have a choice. People think I'm crazy. Well, I am. But I know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Let's see what this one is. What are they talking about here? Let me cut my mic off so you all can hear it.
I think it's fascinating what's happening in this field right now. I mean, FDA approved the first electronic pill, if I can call it like that. So it is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
Did you hear what he said? You take the pill or the capsule or whatever, and it gets absorbed in your stomach, and they'll get a signal confirming that you took your medicine. Air quotes, medicine. And if you didn't, you can't lie about it. You can't lie. You can't, like, pitch it over your shoulder and then act like you're swallowing and, yeah, I took my medicine, open your mouth and they look and you just threw it over your shoulder and they didn't see you. You can't do that. They're going to make you take your medicine. That's what they think. To do what? To instill memories? To induce pain? Coercive measures? Here's this idiot right here. This is all World Economic Forum. People are going to say junk science all they want. I say it's experimenting on human beings with nefarious intent, not letting people know everything that they're doing, which is against the Geneva Conventions. But anyway, this guy's talking about how noble he is that he quit eating meat and how we can get everybody to not eat meat. Why? To lower the carbon. This is the delusion of global warming and greenhouse gases. The morons don't understand from 8th grade science class that plants thrive. They breathe carbon dioxide and they exhale oxygen. It's called balance. If we had more greenhouse gases, we'd have more plant growth. But the earth keeps itself in balance. But this moron thinks we all have to stop eating meat. And listen to what he says about how long you have to not eat meat to equal one jet trip to New Zealand from wherever the hell he's at.
Food for all 8 billion people in this world. So it's a very important point that you are addressing. My daughter, 24, inspired me and said, Dad, how can you advocate for these zero carbon value chains if you still eat meat? And so I stopped eating meat. Now the math would say, well, you need to stop eating meat 11 years to compensate for a flight to Thailand. Yes, but if 1 billion people stop eating meat, I tell you it has a big impact. Not only does it have a big impact on the current food system, but it will also inspire innovation of food systems. And I predict that we will have proteins not coming from meat in the future. They will probably taste even better. So why are we trying to mimic meat if we can have a better taste? They will be zero carbon and much healthier than the kind of food that we eat today. That is a mission that we need to get on. I can inspire you to maybe look at an organization called EAT, easy to remember, EAT, who have all the facts on this and who have the policies necessary, the innovations necessary, and the scale necessary in order to make food systems sustainable and healthy.
So what is he going to make this food out of that we're supposed to eat? As he said, very easy to remember, eat. Some people in the comments said bugs. Well, maybe so. But I think it's going to be even worse than that. How do you get zero net footprint, carbon footprint? Well, I'll let you all think about that. Here is a guy that in the past has talked about using AI to cause trouble in the populace in Ukraine and other places. But he's got a protester, and in the answer to his question, or the protesters screaming and yelling, he does say something that makes sense. He's talking about when people allow themselves to be useful idiots. But the whole goal of this economic forum is to introduce chemicals or other foreign entities into or things into our body that will make us more susceptible to being useful idiots, even pain as coercion. But this guy's talking about the natural evolution of being a useful idiot, namely this person screaming and yelling essentially in support of Hamas.
That a few people get wealthy, and if you said platitudes that were obviously stupid, you could...
You're getting wealthy off of killing Palestinians with Palantir kills Palestinians with their AI and technology.
Oh.
You're killing my family in Palestine.
Yeah. And, you know...
How do you sleep at night?
Well, if you... Do you want to hear my answer?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So, I think the primary cause of death to Palestinians... Okay, do you want to hear the answer, or do you want to yell? Well, you don't want to hear an answer? Obviously. So the primary source of death in Palestine is the fact that Hamas has realized that there are millions and millions of useful idiots that will...
Can we get security up there?
Mostly terrorists, that's true. She believes I'm evil. I believe she's an unwitting product of an evil force, Hamas. That she unwittingly is part of their strategy, that she is a product. And the most important thing, arguably, in the book, or what Palantir, or what you could learn, is do not become a product of an ideology that sounds sensible.
He inadvertently hit the nail on the head. Like with the young lady that refused to stand for her country because of a constant drumbeat of negativity induces dysphoria, okay? He hit the nail on the head. And so did you, Todd. Soylent, not solvent. Exactly. Hi, Benjamin. How you doing? Larry, nice to see you. Yeah, get to zero carbon. You might have to have some Soylent Green. Did I ever play this clip here? Wait a minute. Let me see what this is. Oh, it's Klaus Schwab again. Now, remember, he's gone, but there's somebody just as sinister in his place. the CEO of Nestle or some such thing. But let's hear what Klaus Schwab had to say.
What we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, is that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more, half of this cabinet are for our actually young global leaders of the.
Yeah. What did he say? Half the cabinets are infiltrated. That's what Trump was dealing with his first term, and is still dealing with the remnants of it in our government and other governments. They've infiltrated the cabinets. And we just heard a smidgen of what their plans were for humanity. Dan Scavino posted this. A flyover at Daytona Beach. I believe this is it. Yeah, I imagine it would be pretty exciting. No, this is in Russia. I'm sorry, this isn't a flyover at Daytona Beach. This is Russia shooting at one drone. One drone. You heard how many they already let off. Automatic fire. They got it. They got it. Well, they say Mr. T is angry at Putin. I got two clips from him. One is where he's talking about, I'm not sure which one is which. One, he's talking about the EU. And the other, he's talking about Putin. I believe this is the one about Putin. He's very unhappy because Putin is bombing residential areas in Ukraine. Now, I'll get to why that is in a minute.
Asked for an extension on the June 1st date, and she said she wants to get down to serious negotiation because...
Oh, this is about the tariffs. This is a clip about the tariffs, where she wants to get together. Ursula.
Specifically, I told anybody that would listen, they have to do that. And we had a very nice call, and I agreed to move it. I believe June 9th would be, July 9th would be the date. That was the date she requested. Could we move it from June 1st to July 9th? And I agreed to do that. And that she said we will rapidly get together and see if we can work something out.
Another question you announced on Friday.
Yeah. I meant to take that one out of the studio because I already talked about it with her tweets and stuff, but at least we heard from Mr. T himself. So here he's talking about Putin. What's going on with Putin? They just did a big prisoner exchange. I had video of that too. But it's basically guys getting off buses, on buses, so they did a several hundred prisoner exchange. But then now this started up that Trump's not happy with.
Yeah, I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him. but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
Mr. President, what do you want to do about
And
that?
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do. What am I going to tell you? You're the fake news, aren't you? You're totally fake. All right, any other questions? I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, he got a jam in there to fake news, but he said something happened to this guy, and I don't like it. That's an interesting choice of words. Something happened to this guy. Well, what happened was an attempted assassination using drones like the footage I just showed you. Let me see if I can find that report. I didn't find any reports on from the Eastern news services. They're totally silent about it. But they did put something up. Oh, must not. Oh, if I come across it, there was an attempted drone attack on the helicopter Putin was flying in. And apparently it was a close call. And this is in retaliation, from what I heard. But I'm having trouble finding it, the report. If I trip across it, I'll put it up. Let me see what's going on in the chats. That's right, Andrew. That was an admission of espionage of members of the World Economic Forum or whoever their puppet masters are, getting their people in the office. Imagine how much influence they had in this administration. This is C3. This man had the nuclear codes. Everyone in D.C. knew he was gone. I never want to hear the words national security threat screeched by the media or Democrats ever again. Yeah, I'm trying to find that. Yeah, I heard about it. I've got it. Maybe this is it. What is it? Oh, yeah, this is it right here. The Telegraph. Putin's helicopter fended off drone attack. Vladimir Putin's helicopter was forced to shoot down drones while the Russian president was aboard, a Moscow official said on Sunday. Air Defense Commander Major General Yuri Dashkin told state television that Putin's aircraft was involved in an air defense battle after finding itself in the middle of an unprecedented Ukrainian drone assault. The incident was said to have happened last week when the Russian leader was on a tour of the Kursk region, part of the Ukraine previously occupied. During the period when the president was working in the Kursk region, the enemy launched an unprecedented attack with unmanned aerial vehicles. He added, "We simultaneously conducted air defense battle and ensured the safety of the president's helicopter flight in the air. Russian forces destroyed several Ukrainian drones during the operation. The task was accomplished," he said. "The attack of the enemy drones was repelled and all air targets were hit." Well, part of the bombings that Trump is talking about struck a drone factory, a very large drone factory. And there happen to be civilians there. It's disturbing to see, this is from Rudy Giuliani, that the Iranian state newspaper Kayhan praised the man accused of murdering an American and an Israeli in Washington, referring to him as our dear brother. It legitimizes act of terror and serves as a dangerous affront to humanity. Iranian regime media praises him as a dear brother. While the Trump administration weighs a nuclear deal with Iran, highlighting tensions and U.S. concerns. Well, I saw this big news about this creep I've talked about in the past. His name is Hassan Piker, and he is the largest creep liberal on Twitch. That he got suspended. And I said, well, it's about damn time. He has stated that infants and toddlers were legitimate military targets, that America deserved 9/11. He's had Houthi terrorists on his broadcasts. And he also was caught at a brothel in Germany that was later busted for having minors in the brothels. A hideous individual. He's played propaganda video from Hamas, claims it was a musical, and they were singing in their native language what they would do if they had Mausers, which is a type of rifle, and words I can't repeat, dancing and singing, and he's been taken down 6 times. So I said, well, this does it for him. Ha ha, Gary. Gary's back. I was just earlier in the broadcast, I was just about to say, I hope my friend is drill baby drilling and nothing bad happened. And just leave it a mystery who I'm talking about. Ha ha ha, that's who I was going to talk about. So Gary's back. Off planet. Yes, it was a drone factory, Miss Mindersu. Welcome back, Gary. So, this Hassan Piker guy, I said, well, it's about time. They say that these bans on Twitch, you screw up one time, it's a day. You screw up another time, it's like 3 days. Another time, it's 7 days. Again, it's a month. And eventually you get to a lifetime ban. And I figured, well, he's been taken down 6 times. He's got to be finished. 24-hour ban. 24-hour ban. He read the manifesto of the person that committed that heinous act in D.C., ending the lives of 2 people. He read the manifesto. He should have been booted for life. But 24 hours. Here's what Twitch banned him for right here. Let's see. Improper handling of terrorist propaganda. Sharing content related to terrorist or violent extremist groups. He does it every foggy day. Examples of violative conduct include showing the violent extremist manifesto on stream while denouncing it. He denounces it tongue-in-cheek. Speaking out against terrorist organizations while displaying a recruitment video. He never spoke out against anybody. This guy is Stink Uyghur, Chunk Uyghur from the Young Turks. Is his nephew. And I don't know what his status is, but if he's subject to deportation, he needs to be thrown the hell out of the country. And I was going to put in my title on my video, I was going to say, sue Twitch et al. E-T-A-L. Because these people who have suffered and lost lives, lost loved ones to this vitriol of the type that James Comey is drumming up, the type this guy Hassan Piker drums up, Twitch is letting them get away with it. Anybody who promotes that type of stuff should get their eyeballs sued out of their heads. But no, he got taken down for 24 hours. And it just so happened his ban fell on a Sunday. And guess what? He doesn't even stream on Sundays. But he's acting like he's a victim. Oh, they took me down. I don't put pictures of him up because he's a creep. A creepo. Here, the Babylon Bee put this up. Trump's 50% tariff on European Union decried as Islamophobic. Well, people think that's kind of harsh. Think about it. They were calling Trump Islamophobic. They said he put a Muslim ban up. That was another lie that people repeat, but they can't repeat it now because of his Middle Eastern trip to all those different countries where he was welcomed like royalty. And he's forging peace agreements and economic agreements with every Middle Eastern country you can think of. But they still want to call him Islamophobic. Well, if anybody doubts that there's a reason to be Islamophobic, I wonder if I get in trouble for playing this. Are you ready? This is to the people in UK. And he prattles the narrative. The narrative coming out of Columbia, coming out of University, coming out of Harvard University, coming out of Stanford University, that we here in the U.S. are on stolen land. That's another thing that's got to stop. Anyway, here's a message to UK.
White people, if you are white and you're listening to this, listen very closely. Lately, I've been seeing many of you complaining about Islam and the immigration and stuff like that. And I'm going to separate the white people in two categories. The Americans, Canadians, and Australians do not count because they are white people that live in a country that's not theirs. You guys have invaded those lands from the rightful owners. So when you guys get back to Europe, then we can talk. But for the European white people complaining about immigration and Islam, first of all, I want to tell you that Islam is going to take over every single square inch of the globe. And you guys might think that it's going to be us, dark-skinned people, that are going to take over. No, it's going to be your own people. As you can see how fast Islam is growing, in the next 10 to 15 years, every white person is going to have a Muslim member in his family. Nowadays, you see white Europeans with blue eyes and blonde hair reverting back to the truth because they have finally seen the truth. And the thing is, there's nothing you guys can do to stop it. You guys can hate Islam as much as you want, and I want to thank the Western media for spreading Islam. A lot of weak-minded Muslims think that the media is picking on us and bullying us, but really and truly the Western media is working with us. They have succeeded in spreading Islam, but intentionally. A lot of people did not know about Islam But nowadays, we are the most talked about religion on the media, and thanks to the Western media for spreading the truth. And so I want to say there's nothing you guys can do to stop Islam. Nothing. And also, just to add it, the weak Muslims are the ones. Yeah, just to add it, sorry about the noise. Just to add, it's the weak Muslims that always talk about Islam being a religion of peace. Islam is not. It's not a religion of peace. It does not mean peace. It means to submit to Allah, and it is a religion of justice. Put that in your head. It's the weak so-called Muslims, the cowards of this ummah, that claim that Muslims are religion of peace. I want to clarify that as well. Islam is a religion of justice. We can be peaceful, but when it comes to it, we know how to defend our land, our religion, and our honor.
Well, he thanked the Western media for intentionally spreading Islam, and that what their intentions are to take over. So these people like Hassan Piker mouthing off, and John Brennan, I played him before. He's a Muslim. He's never changed that. The only thing he claims he changed is he used to be a communist. And he said that was when I was young. Here we go. Ukraine launched its largest ever drone attack on Russian territory today. See him smiling? Yay. Oh my. Russia has launched a massive air attack on Kiev, which is ongoing right now. So much for peace talks. Well, one of those Ukrainian drones went after Putin's helicopter. And now they're getting the jammers blown out of one of their cities. Eric, what's that? How you say it? Katakana. It's been almost 3 years now, and the sanctions against Russia clearly haven't stopped her ability to wage war. The West needs to do something that will really damage Russia's economy. Let Russia into the EU. Ha ha ha. Boy, that's a tongue-in-cheek. What's this one about? Oh, well, do you remember Pavel Durov? Okay. He is the CEO of Telegram. Justin Bean, how you doing? He is the CEO of Telegram. He was held in France as under house arrest. Remember that, folks? Well, last week, let me see if I still have it. Yeah. Last week, let me see if this is the right one. Yeah. Last week he posted this. Well, this is a response. George Simeon. I officially asked the Constitutional Court to annul Romanian presidential elections May of 2025 for the very reasons December elections were annulled. External interference by state and non-state actors, this time proven with evidence. Neither France nor Germany or anyone else. But Pavel Durov. Now, I'm showing this, folks. This is important. I think this is going to end up in the mix. He's ready to travel to Romania to testify about the interference of French intelligence in the presidential elections in that country. The co-founder of Telegram stated in X, reposting a statement by the losing candidate Simeon, in which He appealed to the Constitutional Court to cancel the elections due to foreign interference. Take your minds back to the things that Pillow Man was talking about, right? And Louis Gohmert and the operation with the CIA in Frankfurt over servers in Germany. I am ready to come and testify if it will help Romanian democracy, Durov wrote. All right, so now, this was last week. Another development he pointed out. We will do everything on the ground to ensure that the next Romanian president is pro-European, said France's Macron, closest ally and key partner member Valerie Hare to France Info on May 10th, 2025. So what did the head of French intelligence do in Romania a few days after this promise? Nicholas Lerner, the head of France's foreign intelligence, who asked me to silence conservative voices on Telegram in Romania ahead of its elections and later tried to deny it, visited Romania just 2 days before the vote, officials told journalists. Tucaro. So something is going to pop loose about foreign interference. Is that going to dribble over into our territory? Here's that flyover I told you about. That Dan Scavino posted. This was Daytona Beach, Florida. Not a drone attack, a flyover. I got my clips mixed up. I bet that was thrilling to watch. Yeah, they're putting all kinds of fear propaganda up. I was catching some of the comments. What is it here? Look at this kind of garbage. Look at this garbage here. Political Voices Network. Malcolm Nance's shocking prediction that stuns visibly ill Trump. Where am I? They're claiming Trump is losing his mind after he's jetted all around the world and done 100 times what Biden has done in a day and answers every question they throw at him. Here's dopey David Pakman, who I think is suffering from some kind of illness. He's, look at there, he puts makeup on his face and his neck shows up all pale. Look at the way he framed this. David Pakman show. Trump total meltdown. Shouts at South African president. House passes Trump tax cuts at 4 a.m. He calls a tax cut for the rich. During USA chants. What's wrong with that? AOC warns MAGA. There will be consequences. These people eat it up. The useful idiots, the people who willingly make themselves dysphoric. But just about everybody in the chats saw when Trump met with that South African president. Did you see Trump have a total meltdown? Did you see him shout? No. He had a firm, strong voice. But this is the kind of garbage they put out. And the libs lap it up. If Trump was guilty, why did the J6 committee destroy all the evidence they compiled against him? Good question. That's historical. It shows Trump's an insurrectionist. Why would you destroy historical evidence? Because it's all BS? That's a good one to put on your meta. Oh, here's a good one. Good luck to this crow. Look at that face. Karen Dunn and other top lawyers depart Paul Weiss to start a firm. Remember when Trump cut deals with top law firms for like a couple $100 million in pro bono legal fees and for them to be able to continue to do business with the federal government? Anybody serious, would you hire this, whatever you're looking at there? New York Times, oh boy. Four top partners at Paul Weiss announced their departures, a major blow to the firm. They probably had a party when these people left. In the wake of its deal with President Trump to avoid an executive order that would have restricted its business. The partners say they'll form their own law firm. Well, I tell you what, your clients that you had that were on the inside that are Marxist and communist influenced they're going to need lawyers. All right, but you better be a criminal attorney. But they're probably celebrating. Probably celebrating that they left. Where is that one? Here it is. Yeah. Here's a good example. Here's the Doge father. Ha ha ha. Maurice Delk. Just in, Doge has officially submitted. Have you heard this anywhere, folks? 163 members of Congress for immediate IRS audit, and 156 are reportedly Democrats. Is it time to follow the money? Yes. Audit them all. No political targeting. I don't have a poll. But you can guess which way it went. 163 members of Congress for immediate audit. You think it'll happen? This is just a little funny aside. Trump's personal cell phone rang while he was meeting with reporters.
Have Canada making our cars. We want to make our cars. Oh, it's a phone call. Do you mind? Hello? Okay, it's only a congressman.
It's only a congressman. Goodbye. Here's part of his commencement speech. A short clip, but an important clip talking to our young men and women who are going to be serving us.
The job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows, to transform foreign cultures, but to spread democracy to everybody around the world at the point of a gun. The military's job is to dominate any foe and annihilate any threat to America anywhere, anytime, and any place.
Yeah, that's the job. Oh, there's one clip where he said that the young people there at West Point are going to be responsible for enforcing military law. He used that term, military law. Anyway, here's a couple of reports. about some of our new neighbors. Where'd that go? There it is. Our new neighbors.
Sorry? On the screen in Franklin County Common Pleas Court, Ayanat Bizga, one of the 3 accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars out of Ohio's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP.
You understand? Yes, I understand. I mean, no. Tell them.
Due to a language barrier, a judge continued his case and the case of Dowena Maria Baselan that involves 5 counts, stating they engaged in a criminal enterprise starting last summer to steal more than $150,000 worth of welfare benefits. It's at that same time
taking a gentleman unconscious.
Bizga crashed his minivan into a Columbus fire hydrant and was rushed to OSU East. Officers couldn't find an ID for Bizga, and he was cited for not having a driver's license.
Looks like a temp tag out of Texas. That don't look legit.
Officers couldn't match the temp tag from Texas in any database. Another plate from Virginia was found inside the van.
Pleases the court that your client does have an ICE holder.
The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services has reported losing $17 million in SNAP benefits due to fraud and theft since the summer of 2023.
I'm not guilty. That's it.
Bizga is maintaining his innocence, but not on court record until he's provided a Romanian interpreter.
Did you catch what they squeezed in the middle there? In print, the suspect does have an ICE holder. They called it an ICE holder instead of an ICE detainer. Hi, Hebrew. How you doing? That's right. Yeah, Gary, earlier in the broadcast I played where the World Economic Forum was talking about creating memories and even inducing pain in people as a coercive tactic to get them to obey and to take pills that you cannot deny or you can't fake them out because they receive an electronic signal that says, "Well, this guy didn't take his pill." Here, Mike Davis put this up. Remember this. Obama intentionally killed 3 Americans, including a minor, in an overseas drone strike. The federal courts did nothing. Trump is expelling invading foreign terrorists who are robbing, kidnapping, raping, and red-rumming Americans. The federal courts stopped him. There's something big going to come out of this. What we're doing is getting, I think, prima facie evidence of actions that they are taking to purposely undermine our country and the administration to defraud the American people from control of their own government. And I'm talking about members of the judiciary, among many others. Trump put up, why isn't Harvard saying that almost 31% of the students are from foreign lands? And yet those countries, some not all friendly to the United States, pay nothing toward their students' educations, nor do they ever intend to. Nobody told us that. We want to know who these foreign students are. One of them's name was Barry Soweto. A reasonable request since we give Harvard billions of dollars, but Harvard isn't exactly forthcoming. We want those names and countries. Harvard has $52 billion. Use it and stop asking the federal government to continue granting money to you. Another scandal that's come out is Harvard is accepting students that can't even do remedial math. Remedial math. Like 3 times 2. They are recruiting subversives. That's what they're doing. And I think we are coming on the home stretch to exposing them. Harvard. How about this guy? It's Sean Daniel put this up. Harvard morgue manager busted in black market organ ring. What the hell are you talking about? Cedric Lodge, the former manager of Harvard Medical's morgue, has pleaded guilty to stealing human remains from cadavers donated for scientific research and selling them on the black market. My God. What are they using for? Rituals? Between 2018 and 2020, he allegedly removed body parts, including skin, brain, and bones, sometimes taking them home. Look, honey, I'm home, to New Hampshire, where he and his wife sold them online or in person. Oh, I had somebody asking about some fingers. The case sparked an outrage due to the abuse of trust at one of the world's most prestigious medical institutions. Multiple people have been indicted in connection with the trafficking scheme. This just came out. This isn't something that's been sitting around for years. Here's Midas Trash Network. What do they worry about? Do they worry about the millions of dollars in just one state being stolen by people with ICE detainers? China is now celebrating Trump's attack on Harvard. The U.S. now stands to lose countries, countless numbers of the world's smartest minds. Oh, the ones that don't know 2 + 2 yet? Including dozens of Nobel laureates. Didn't Obama win a Nobel Peace Prize? And he started wars, took out an American citizen with a drone. Chinese universities are promising to unconditionally accept banned Harvard international students. Okay, go over there. Go over there and watch what happens if you step out of line. Just ask the Uyghurs that are working in factories as slave labor prisoners and their organs get sold. You're sitting there eating your bowl of rice for lunch, and they come snatch you up because you're a match for somebody else. What do you want? Oh, just your liver. And this guy says, yeah, they are. Also heard that the EU will be doing that something. Will be doing that something. You're brilliant, Katsu Demitz, as in taking students under their wing. You can have them. You can have them all. We don't want them. They can't do remedial math, and they're agitators. But that's what my such worries about. And the people in the comments say, oh, we're losing so many brilliant people. They don't know the facts of what I'm putting out. Oh, that's Phil Robertson, dead at 79. I had that. And then I got the picture of him that I showed earlier. Phil. Here's this. Oh. Diamond Silk put this up. CVID lockdown opponents were labeled as domestic extremists. New documents show. Now we know what the DNI was doing. Going after little old ladies praying outside of abortion clinics. concerned mothers going to PTA meetings. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard declassified intelligence records on Friday detailing how the Biden administration labeled those who opposed COVID-19 pandemic measures were labeled as domestic terrorists. Ain't that something? Didn't know you were that bad of a person, did you? Now you know. Here's another thing from Diamond Silk. New. Oh, there's so many things on the burner. Fannie Willis, Letitia James, all the other stuff we've been through today. Things are going to blow up in their faces. Letitia James melts down, blames mistakes for mortgage fraud. She said it's an overreaction. Letitia James lashed out of the Trump administration and claimed the criminal probe into her business dealings is an overreaction to mistakes. Oh, but she could tie the president up for months in a freezing courtroom with her shoes off, pulling her shoes off and sitting there dealing with a corrupt judge. Who's another one that's going to go down? That Judge Engoron. He's going to be tied into this. He's a radical. He's out of here. So anyway, yeah, it was just a mistake, Letitia. So you should be all right. "17-year-old Carmelo Anthony has been charged with first-degree red rum as an adult under Texas state law. Did they charge him correctly? That's from Paint to Trump. Gary put some booms in. Boom. All right, where's my special effects? Here we go. I'll put a boom up. Let's see. Here, this was a colorful one. Pow. 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 Here's fireworks. Pow. Ha ha. Pow, pow. Thank you, Gary. I guess that's the signal he went to buy me a coffee. Oh, I had said through the whole program, I hope you all give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, go ahead and dip out, give me a thumbs up, and come back in. Or if you don't like the broadcast, give me a thumbs down and come back in. Also, this is a viewer-supported channel. Viewer-supported. I'm not monetized with Utizzle. I have a link for Buy Me a Coffee in the description, and that also goes for my friends on Rumble. If you want to stop by, buy me a coffee and help that channel out. And Miss Mindersu gave him a bunch of booms and a thumbs up. Sissy gave him a bunch of booms. Ha ha ha. So anyway, I appreciate that reminder. An hour and 42 minutes into my broadcast. Oh, it's a labor of love. You all know that. So anyway, this is in Texas. They have to show intent, that he intended. It may be overcharging. He's looking at 40 years to life. Parole after 40 years. We'll see. They better not let him walk. I can tell you that right now. No justification, no excuses. Here's another report about our friends, our new neighbors. You know what I'm talking about? Let's see, who did what now? They're only trying to find a better life.
And developing tonight, a suspect who is in Florida illegally from Venezuela was arrested for battery on a law enforcement officer after allegedly fleeing from a traffic stop. It happened in Polk County early this morning. A deputy stopped a car with expired tags. And during that stop, the driver said he didn't speak English or have a driver's license. That's when the passenger allegedly got out of the car, hit the deputy, and ran off. The deputy was able to stop him with a taser. Both men are now facing several charges.
You're out of here. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Bye-bye. So, with the big, beautiful bill, Senator Ron Johnson. Here, what's this one? Let me look at this one first. What was this about? Oh, I wanted to get a copy of this video. Let me see. The head of the ADL directly blames Hassan Piker for the D.C. shooting, the one I talked about earlier. The full force of the U.S. government is about to come down on him. When these things happen, politicians look for a scapegoat to show they're doing something. Hassan will be the guy. We shall see. They need to do so. I've been saying that for a month. I've been talking about this person on a channel designed for children. Twitch is a channel designed for children. Oh, look here. 2.6 million views. What is it? New Amazon show. The King of England is black, gay, and disabled. Oh. Which king was that? I don't know. I have to read up on my history. Fatigue. Is this really being made? Grok said yes. The show, My Lady Jane, on Amazon Prime is real. Released in 2024. It portrays King Edward VI as black, gay, and disabled in a fantastical reimagining of 16th century England based on YA novels. The casting has sparked debate. Some praise its inclusivity and creative freedom, while others criticize it for historical inaccuracy. Yeah, I bet. Oh, boy. So, yeah, people wonder why nobody wants to watch movies anymore. They're not realistic. They're pandering. You know, black people are sick of it, too. I mean, it's not a representation of reality. It's bordering on parody. What's this about? It's too small. I can't read it. I can't read it. Let's see. Oh. Oh, this is about that creepy woman I showed you quitting and starting her own firm. This is just some of the protesters out there. I should have put that up when I put that creepy woman up. Creepy woman. U.S.-German dual citizen. Here we go. We got to do away with that dual citizen crap. Charged with planning attack on U.S. Embassy office in Tel Aviv. Ain't that something? A dual citizen. Oh, George Floyd family reflected on his legacy. What legacy? And called again for police reform. What, give mouth to every meth head that keels over? I doubt that. During a press conference on Sunday to mark the 5-year anniversary, the press conference took place outside a Houston, Texas cemetery where Floyd is buried and followed a private memorial that was held by the family. I feel like it took 9 minutes and 29 seconds to change the world. Well, he's been drug-free for 5 years, but it takes for us to be the change we want to see. Oh, like the way you raised him, like the way your family helped him. They put him in rehab, right? All the charges, things he's been convicted of and times he's been in jail. That was his niece, Brooke Williams, who also called on the community to engage politically and vote for local officials who support police. Yeah, get out of here. So, needless to say, I won't be recognizing or celebrating or. Here it is. I feel good. There he is, George Floyd. 100% sober for 5 years. You know, I got to put this up. Because for all I know, my father may have typed this. I'm not kidding. An IBM slide from 1979. A computer can never be held accountable. Therefore, a computer must never make a management decision. I told a story about my dad working at IBM. It was one of the proudest things of his life, second to being in the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah! And he worked for IBM for 25 years. So, I got a video that the White House put out. This may be where Trump says that they're going to be in charge of military law. I'm not sure. Let's listen to what he says during this music video. I believe it's got music with it.
Every cadet on the field before me should savor this morning, because this is a day that you will never, ever forget. You could have done anything you wanted. You could have gone anywhere. You could have gone to any school. This is one of the hardest schools to get into. Instead of sports teams and spreadsheets and software, you chose a life of service. The job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows, to transform foreign cultures, but to spread democracy to everybody around the world at the point of a gun. The military's job is to dominate any foe and annihilate any threat to America, anywhere, anytime. West Point cadets don't just have the brightest minds, you also have the bravest hearts and the noblest souls. You're amazing people. I could not be more proud to serve you as your commander-in-chief. Each of you continues down the same hallowed path walked by titans and legends of U.S. military lore. America's Army has never failed us, and with leaders like the West Point class of 2025, the Army will never fail.
Oh, he said military lore. Lore, L-O-R-E. My bad. My bad. Here's a nice picture that was put up showing our fallen. Putting everything on the line. Everything on the line, folks. That's what got me in a rather negative spirit after I saw the video, the woman who would not stand for the anthem, graduating from God knows what kind of rubbish college. They don't know what it's like to never be able. I have uncles, I never even heard the sound of their voice, never got to look them in the eye. They went overseas and they never came back. So, yeah, kind of puts you in a little foul mood. But I tell you what, folks, I have got a video that is a young lady that tells of her lifelong voting as a Democrat and what she did this time around, why she did it. And it is my true belief and also my true hope that there are millions more and millions more to come. It's called The Great Awakening, folks. So enjoy this little quick video of this young lady. And I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me. And I will be going live again tomorrow night, Lord willing. You know, like I said, we never know, do we? We never know. So, you all have a great night. Enjoy this video. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
I was planning on voting for Kamala up until October, and I could not bring myself to do it. I had reached out to her campaign several times because by this point, this was a international story. Nobody got back to me, or any other Democrat for that matter. And I thought, how can I vote for people who didn't have my back, didn't care about myself or my neighbors? So I voted for Trump.
So you were a Democrat?
I was my whole life.
Really?
I first voted for Bill Clinton and voted Democrat every single year until, November.
And what do you think of Trump now? What do you think of his policies on deportation?
You know what? I can't tell you specifics about his policies, but what I will tell you is that it was not for Donald Trump, we might still be living next to gang members because everything changed after he was elected.
So you feel a lot safer now that he's in the White House again? I
I do, because he's taking it seriously. The Democrats simply ignored it. They said it was lies. They who have been victimized by this.